Kindly introduce yourself also. Climate change, I mean, needs not any introduction, right? But the ongoing current, that spell is going on. I mean, this is kind of a thing everybody is, afraid of, and people are saying it's a huge warning. And when you listen, there's a huge warning. Being an architect, what kind of picture do you make in your mind? What to do? Any suggestions, recommendations? What would you say?
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I am Dr. Yasira Naeem Pasha. I am heading architecture department in Dawood University. This particular conference that has been arranged at a national level holds a pertinent position. The issues and the topics that have been raised in this conference are of tremendous significant value. The role of architecture in this type of the conference is very much hidden currently, but I must say that architecture can play its role in every scenario, whatever it can. The most important thing is related to the zero carbon, or we can just say that low carbon footprint is more important as long as the architectural value is concerned. We can explore the different types of the materials, we can explore different types of the opportunities regarding the efforts to put in for the climate change and to put down the heated levels of the country, and especially in the urban scenes. So I think that this type of the conference and the recommendations that may come after the conference will hold a significant value, and they will be able to put forth to the planning commission or to some of the dignified forums where they can play their part. Thank you.
Okay, this conference is mostly focusing agriculture kind of a thing, and water and other things are involved. But you being an architect, I mean, seemingly I don't see more architects here on the stage. But what do you think? I mean, architects and architecture departments are mostly housed in engineering universities, right? Do you see any kind of impetus, any kind of urge there in the universities to do something very serious about it?
Well, there has been always a debate about the wrong placement of the architecture department in the engineering university, but I have always seen it on the flip side of it. I always feel it more important for architecture to be a part of the engineering universities, because that is how they can integrate some of the jointly workable areas, and things are doable in this manner. Otherwise, architecture doesn't have to just work in an alien manner or something which is not practically possible. So architecture is all about living in the world, and it has its social value, cultural value, and the engineering value as well. So I feel that this was the first time that a combined type of the integrated conference has been held, and if this goes on, and if this is a tradition to hold such kind of the integrated conferences, then I think architecture can play its best part. The issues that has been raised here have already been addressed in architectural fields alone, and but now will be the time that when we can integrate it also.
One last question. Being outside the universities, when our architects are forming their own firms, and there are many known architects here in this country, no doubt about that one. Do you think in that certain private sector, they are doing enough to, in terms of climate change? Do you think they have projects and recommendations, something like that?
Well, this is a different equation when we talk about when we are living in a consumerism society, and where the client is already guided enough by the international scenarios. So it is really difficult. Yes, I agree with you. It is really difficult to for the practicing architects to demonstrate such kind of the practices. But nevertheless, I think there have been very wise architects. They have been refusing to such kind of the interventions that are unnecessary and that are harmful for the environment. And normally, this is what we also teach in academia. We have introduced new subjects of that can directly address to the climate change and that respond to the environmental value of any region. That's one part. And secondly, when they apply the same thing to in their practice to the practicing field, then that is the core value of the architecture. That is where architecture can actually play the role. And I have always seen a brighter part of it. I'm not hopeless for such kind of the situation.
Why is that so that architects in the developed world, they are earning money and taking care of environment, and why we can't do it here in Pakistan?
Well, I think there the bylaws and the practicing bylaws also in outside Pakistan are different, and they are guided by different equations. So we living in a developing country, we have to face this is what is called we call it in architecture a context relative approach. So the context which we are facing here in Pakistan holds a different equation. For example, in the UK or in Bangladesh or somewhere in Turkey, it will be a different equation. For Pakistan, we are always people were talking about DRR and the disaster risk management systems, and then we are also talking about the developed form of the academic value of architecture. Then I think there is a need to try finding ways and means to address the situations, and that can take time. That's very much okay. But as long as it is in the address book of the schools, of the architectural schools, that's okay. I think we are trying to implement such kind of things.
For the